I did watch something yesterday, Digging for
Oh,
Britain.
Anne, 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 Anne. Do you want me to start? Right, God's sake. Okay. Right. Let's formally start exactly the way I did last night. Right. Anyway, welcome everybody. Um, I just wanted to say, as I said to those last night, that um we due to numbers dropping, we lost about six people last year, including Peter. And it's very likely, probably by the end of this year, we'll probably just be down to one class. I did mention to two people on a Tuesday night whether we could put the monies for the classes up because I'm really struggling now to pay for the Zoom and obviously the extra phone device. But the two people basically said we can't afford it to pay any more. So we're not going to be doing that. So we'll keep to the amount that we're everybody's paying every 2 months, which is £50. But things are getting harder and harder, so we'll probably be dropping back to one class probably by the end of the year. But no changes yet. So we've got a final copy of the Illicit Pillar, which is being sent out probably next month, but we can't afford the postage for that either. But we'll see what we can do. And then from then onwards, we'll just be working on the excavation work that we've got in West Wales, and the cleaning up of the sacred spring that we now own. We actually own a sacred spring now, which Dell knows about, and we'll be obviously talking about in the Illicit Pillar. We'll just be focusing also on our new acquisitions in Barry, where we are now maintaining two archaeological sites, one at St Barrett's Chapel and one at Glanamore, where we're maintaining the two sites for the council. So we'll be talking about that in the next Illicit Pillar. But everything changes as of now. But obviously, funding wise, we're really struggling. But that's the way it is. But we'll continue. We'll be continue doing these on a Tuesday and a Wednesday. And thanks for joining us. And tonight we'll be looking at part two of Iron Age coinage, which is going to be looking principally on the later stuff for the Iron Age coinage with lots of really nice images. And those will be coming along to the live show will have a coin that will be handing around the audience as well. And that's obviously the live show's taking place now in Ystrid, Gunlice, and Chepstow. We've had to cut back on two of them as well because we just can't fund them.
Are you
And
doing Chepstow? What have you finished Chepstow?
we're
You're
doing
not doing.
Chepstow and Ystrid, Gunlice.
Oh, all
You're
right.
going along, and you're going to Chepstow.
Yeah.
Right. Anyway, and we've got one going on in Lampeter, but that's like a rehearsal, and um, yes, and basically that's something else. But anyway, so I want to know if there's any news from anybody. Right. Any news from you, Adele?
Yeah, I sent you some pictures today, which Anne will be interested in. It's the marker pillars around Call.
Oh yes, Adele. Do you want to talk about these pillars a minute, or do you want me to talk about
I'll,
them? You talk.
I'll talk about them. There's
Yeah.
the sort of the jury's out as to what they are, but they are ancient monuments, probably not registered. But some people, like me, think they're just boundary markers, and other people think they're mooring stones for Viking
Oh
longships.
yeah, yeah.
But
I
I can't
remember.
see that myself because there's never been an inlet by the pond where the one I took a picture of is, and it's about 15 meters above sea level at that point. So I think because it's on a little slope, it's probably about 25 meters above sea level. And unless during those ages when it was put there, the sea level was higher, I'm not sure, but there's no local evidence of an inlet at that point. So I think they're boundary markers.
All right. Yeah.
There.
And there's another one up the hill.
How many of these are there?
That's one. There's one up down a Graig Hill, past the big house that always has the daffodils. There's another one at Rest Bay, just on the corner as you go into the boardwalk. It's part of the wall now by the Royal Porthcawl Golf Course.
Yeah.
I've not seen any others yet, or know of any
Yeah,
others.
these are territorial boundary markers.
Yeah, you've been.
I think they're boundary stones.
Yeah.
So you've been hunting around since that, we talked about them.
Yeah.
And research and everything, and there's nothing in the annals.
No. There was a
So-
Facebook question on them not so long ago, about 3 weeks ago, which I forgot to save. And somebody was asking about them, what they were. And again, it's a cross between boundary markers or mooring stones, but I don't think they're mooring stones.
No.
They're in the wrong place.
And the other thing as well, Del, that we're seeing that we've actually found a standing stone actually here, but the standing stone that we've actually found is actually broken off another standing stone. So the point is, where was some of these things have moved around, so you can't always be sure.
Yes.
So where you find these stones, whether they were in the original place or not. Because me and Pat, and I think it was me, Pat, and a couple of others, we went to see a stone, which is just off the motorway, near Kenfig on the opposite side, in the middle of a field. There was this weird.
Yes.
You remember that, Pat? There was were you there, Del?
Kevin Cribber?
No, but I know where it is.
Yes,
I know
I
where it's
remember
from the motorway.
Not Kevin Cribber. When you go over on the motorway, right? Basically, heading towards Bridgend. If you're tight over on the left, and you're a passenger, you can actually see it down there.
Water Street, I think the name of the road is.
That's that off Water Street. That's the one. That's the one. See, the point is, that's a really big one. Was that always originally there, or was it? That's what you got to ask.
Yeah, you have to look at the old maps.
Anyway, keep looking about the boundary markers. I just about to say that we have started the archaeological excavation in West Wales, that was we're continuing on that as well. Right. So, anything from you, Pat?
Oh, nope, I haven't done any archaeological things or reading any. Sorry.
Right. What about you, Bill?
Nothing really, Carl. I have been busy archiving our local history material in the new super duper My State Town Hall.
Yes.
If you haven't been there, go. They do a fantastic job of updating it.
Can you go in there anytime?
Anytime you like. And in the corner, we have got the local history room, which is packed full of information, including our local history society archives. So it's worth a visit. It really is, it's looking good. But archaeology-wise, no, I haven't involved in anything, I'm afraid, in recent months. Nothing at all.
And thanks for making a great effort on that, Bill, keeping that side of things going. Because lots of local history societies are either closing or no longer exist. And it's really good that yours is still going, because I can remember in the Vale of Glamorgan, there used to be, but back about 30 years ago, there used to be the Dinas Powys Local History Society, which used to own Dinas Powys Castle. They folded, and they basically had to sell a castle, and that they disappeared. There was also the Llandochai Local History Society, which used to operate out of basically near Llandoch Hospital. They went to the wall as well. Barry itself had a civic trust, and that went to the wall. The Preservation Society in Barry, that went to the wall. There's loads of these societies that have gone, and it's amazing that Bill's still going. And there's the archive that Bill's actually just putting together. So that's brilliant. Well done, Bill.
Yeah, we pick it up again slowly. Picking up again. Yeah.
Oh, hang on a minute.
Well, we'll have to come up to my state.
Shut up. When you say, Bill, pick it up again, what's happened? Was it pandemic or something? What happened?
They got a new building.
The pandemic.
Bill,
pandemic, we lost a lot of people. A few people have died as well, unfortunately, and many people have been don't want to come out as much as they did, especially in the cold, dark nights of winter. But we are picking up, and in fact, last night we had a talk from the High Sheriff of Middle Glamorgan in his full regalia, and we drew in quite a lot of people actually. So yeah, we are slowly trying to get back to normal, increasing numbers. So that's good.
How many members have you got? How many turned up last night?
About 30.
30 last night.
Yeah, that's good, isn't it? Yeah.
Very good.
So we are getting back to where we used to be. Yeah, which is good.
That's good. That's good. Well, make sure if you invite archaeologists along, make sure that they check the images that they're showing in the presentation first to make sure that there's no dodgy things. Pete.
No naughty images allowed now. Nothing at all. No naughty stuff.
Well, make sure you don't invite that archaeologist along again, because it was bad for your society's reputation.
Indeed. Right, I'm done.
Anything from you, Goff?
No, I hope Bill doesn't mind me congratulating him on his efforts. It takes a lot to do, and good on him.
What you doing?
So anyway, no, I haven't got any news from you. Thanks very much, Carl.
Okay. Anyway, thanks for that. Anything from you, Richard?
Only I was looking now. I just have a thing on Dig for Britain tonight. It's from Langford Major.
Yes.
The St. Athan Local History Group.
Well, we'll be able to do iPlayer.
Hang on a minute. That don't make sense. Lanswick Major, and you've got the St. Athan History Group. How does that work out?
I don't know. Just on Facebook. But I take it's from Lanswick, where they were digging sort of south of the church.
Ah, right. Yeah. That's right.
With monastic remains.
The monastic remains, exactly. And finally, Anne, you've only managed to interrupt 2 people tonight, 3 actually. So, anything you want to say?
No, I was just watching Digging for Britain last night when you were doing a class, and they did go to County Durham, it was, and they found a Pictish stone, which was quite exciting. Bishop Auckland, I think. And it was just like the stone that you see. Oh no, it's not. Well, it's a bit like the one in Ireland, in Newgrange, a bit like that. But and then there was something else.
Right, that's good enough for all of us, Anne. Right, okay then. We're going to start off with saying Commius, Tincamarus, Epilus, right? So if that makes no sense to you, it will by the end of this presentation, right? And also, I will be testing you on your Latin, right? So you will be expected to repeat these words when I ask you. Caliva attribatum, right? So after 3 folks, you've all got to say Caliva attribatum. 1, 2, 3. Caliva attribatum. Yeah, well done. You know what? That was a bit like bloody Dad's Army, wasn't it?
Caliva
attribatum.
Isn't that a British tribe?
Oh, the Atrebates is a tribe. The Caliva Atrebates is Caliva attribatum is their town or city. And those that do watch my videos every single day on YouTube, right? You'll note that I did Silchester recently, which is actually the modern name for Caliva attribatum, and also on my YouTube channel that some of you do watch. I do regular updates on the excavation that we've got down here, or I do a regular update on the well. I was cleaning out the well today, and we come across 2 weird bottles. It's just strange.
They weren't
really.
mine.
Yeah, but these weird glass bottles. I was just raking out the well, right, and these 2 bottles just flung to the top, miniature wine bottles. It was really odd. No, they're not yours, Del, because they're red wine rather than white wine. So they're not yours. They're not yours.
Oh, that's Anne then.
With the Rundies. Right. So I wanted to try and keep to 7:15. So you now know, guys, that it's 7:15, right? So not 7:30, 7:15. Right. So we're doing part 2 of these coins. Now the last time when we were doing these coins, I ran out of time. And last night I ran out of time. So when I get to a certain image in this set that we're doing tonight, I'm going to stop because it's not going to be fair because we didn't manage to complete it last night either. So there's in memory of Peter, we're doing Celtic Iron Age coins today, and that bloody hurt, folks. That really, really hurt. Right. But we're going to crack on. So let's get straight to the images, and I'm going to try and get these images on a minute. Let's just share. And it's not Sunny and share. When I say share, right, it doesn't mean, yeah. Do you get the joke there? I did. Right, thanks. I thought it was funny anyway. Oh, I just put the images on and I took them off again. Hang on. Right, okay. Hang on. It's all gone to pot. Right. Talking about pot. You want me to tell you a bit of a story, right? We were filming in Barry on Friday, right? And basically afterwards, right, there were a few people smoking pot, right? Now, as part of the production, right, I had to smoke pot as well, right? And and the weird thing was when I was driving back in the evening, I was pulled over by the police.
Oh.
Right. So I was pulled over by the police. And the police wanted to know. I was pulled over because I was going too slow, right? This is the weirdest thing, right? I was driving between Cardiff and Culverhouse Cross, right? And when he pulled me over, he basically said that I should have been going. Wait for it. The speed that I should have been going on the bypass between Culverhouse Cross and the motorway, he said you should have been going 70 miles an hour. And I said to him, hang on a minute, right? Yeah, wait for it. This is what he said. I should have recorded it, but I didn't record it, right? He said to me, you should have been going 70 miles an hour. And I said, I was not prepared to go 70 miles an hour on a road that I could clearly see it sparkling. There were black ice patches. There were people weaving all over the bloody road, right? And I told him straight, there's no way I was going to go more than 30 miles an hour. He said, oh, yeah, but it's unacceptable to go that slow. Even if there was ice on the road, it's mandatory to go 70 miles an hour. And I said, you've got to be joking. And luckily, he gave me an alcohol test, not a drugs test, because if he'd have given me a drugs test, I wouldn't be here tonight. Anyway, I thought I'd tell you that. It was a bit of a wasting time thing, but that was good. Right, where we were last time, I was trying to tell you that coins in Britain were developed as copies from those that were being produced on the continent, right? That's what we were looking at last time, and we showed you a load of examples, and it was a really good presentation, may I say myself. This coin itself is a bronze coin which has been cast. Now, cast. Well, last time we basically mentioned cast coins and coins made using a die, as we find being made in the Royal Mint, or well, when coins used to be made in the Royal Mint. But this is a cast bronze coin. So this is a cast bronze coin which ended up in Britain via France. Now, the big question is one of the interesting things last night was when I was presenting this last night. We really didn't come to a conclusion why people use coins in Britain before the Roman era, because it was really too complex. And I do go into the little bit of a visage of trying to say to you that in some parts of Britain there's loads of gold being produced, right? But where people are using coins, right, is not where there's gold. Okay, so in other words, what we do find is that in the Iron Age, people in Scotland weren't producing gold coins. In the Iron Age, people in Wales weren't producing gold coins. But in the Iron Age, people were producing gold coins where they didn't mine gold, i.e., in places like Kent, or that place known as Anne.
Atrapatum.
You nearly got it. Well done. Exactly. And you nearly had it. Don't labor it. Just forget it. Right. So anyway.
Yeah.
So what I've got loads of really nice images for you tonight, and basically when I said right we were going to do these slides last night, right, we just run out of time, right. Now obviously one of the things I mentioned last night was the fact that when we're talking about the production of coins in Britain, yeah, they're really straight down to the Undies, and people are producing loads of these in the territory of the Cantai tribe, which is in the area of Canterbury, Kent. The tribe of the Atrebates, for example, which is in Silchester. We've got the Regnai tribe and the Belgi tribe, which is on the south coast, just above the Isle of Wight. We got the people like the Catavalani people. We got some of the periphery coin producing people like the Judatriges and the Iceni and so on. But outside that sort of ilk, outside that, people in Wales are not producing coins. And then you go up to north, just above the Brigante territory, like places north of Birmingham and Manchester, that nobody's producing any coins. But anyway, the point is that people in Britain are slowly starting to espouse to be like those coin producers, like the Roman Empire, like the Great Caesar, basically around 50 years before the birth of Christ. Now, when we look at this chat, I just realised that you can. There was something I could have done then, but I just can't be bothered. Right, there's the Cantai people, Kent, the Trinovanti people, the Catavalani people, the Atrebates, the Belgi, the Regensis people, the Corotalavi people, the Iceni, and the Debuni and the Jutriges. Those are the people producing coins. But and obviously, as you know, the Siluis is a name of a tribe it didn't exist, because it's a name that the Romans gave to the local people of the area, because the local people's names of the local area, which it says Siluris in there, was lost in history. And why did their name get lost in history? The actual name of the people get lost in history? Because they didn't produce coins, right? So their names weren't mentioned on coins or anything like that, or any of their leaders, right? So that's another presentation altogether. Right, so this brings a little bit nicer. What we've got the Atrebates there, which their main city, as you know, is called
At the bottom.
My God, she's getting better. Give her a salmon. Catavalani, the Trinovantes, basically those people there, they're producing lots of coins. Now the images that we don't do tonight, we don't really look at these images, for example, but look at that there. Oh, isn't that coin to die for? That's the coin of Caraticus, right? Now, a gold coin of Caraticus. And look at that coin. It's so detailed. Judith last night, Fraggle last night, she said she used to have a coin. Not a coin. She used to have. Oh, hang on, I've lost it. She used to have a little horse that used to look like that, right? And this is a coin of Caraticus. And note the phallus on there, Pat. There's a phallus on there. They even put phalluses in their coins. But these coins get more realistic as the time of AD 43 approaches, right? So what we've got there, going back to that, yeah, that's a coin, as we've already mentioned. That's cast in France. And then when we've got coins like this, we get coins like this that are known as the Theropotins, right? Now, as I remember mentioning to you last time, potin is just basically a mixture of soft metals like lead, a little bit of copper, a bit of tin, chuck a bit of zinc in there, and also those potin coins themselves were to produce cast coins rather than dyed coins, for example. Now, when you talk about dyed coins, for example, we got no idea how many of these cast coins are being produced. But when we explained about dyed coins last time, we basically mentioned the concept that if you've got two coins that look similar, but they're not the same, right? That means that the moneyer is in fact producing those two coins from two separate dies. And as I remember, when one die runs out, right, when using the die, except you've got two dies, a male and a female die, one on the bottom, one on the top. So you put a little bit of a blank in the middle, and there you go, bang. You've got a coin. When that die starts to get less and less defined, you would get rid of that die. You get the ironsmith to actually melt that down, the metallurgist. Well, they would melt that down and make another die, right? So it's likely that you've got over 10,000 coins out of each die. So if you've got two separate coins that are slightly the same, but they are different, right? That means that they'd already produced 10,000 coins of that coin run, right? And you've got another coin, you've made it another load. So they've got to redesign the coin each time they use the die, as you would do with the raw mint today. Anyway, the point is what I mentioned last night, really exciting last night, is that all the origins of British coins running into the creation of the raw mint, which is 1,000 years ago, actually come all the way back to the Iron Age. Right, so if it wasn't when we mentioned the name of the city known as Bill,
Caliver Atterbottom.
Yes, when we think about Caliver Atterbottom, the reason why Caliver Atterbottom is so amazing, Silchester, which is southwest of the likes of Reading, right? That location would have become a city with or without the Romans, right? And they would have been producing their own coins with or without the Romans. And we would be the society that we have today with a few little changes with or without the Romans, right? And they naturally, what we espouse to see in these coins, as we see in the presentation tonight, we see that the benchmark is set down 2,000 years ago. And what that benchmark is, we've got an obverse and a reverse. We've got a figure on one side and a reverse on the other. That was something that we developed as an idea on our coins. So that's one thing that we devised in the Iron Age. The other thing as well is we've got the representation of the location or the moneyer on coins, which is something that we see very much through the Anglo-Saxon period and very much through the medieval period of Great Britain. So there's something else as well. You've got the idea of letters on coins, right? We've got the idea of events on coins. We've got the idea of Britannia. Obviously Britannia doesn't come from our coins. Maybe it did, but the idea where we get Britannia on coins, which is a Roman concept. We've got horses on coins. So these designs that we've got on coins today, when you look at the raw mint coins being produced, collectors' coins are being produced today. All these designs, and like the Trevithick steam engine, which is a design that was designed by Anne's husband, right? That idea of producing designs on coins comes all the way back to the Iron Age and our Iron Age, right? Not thanks to the Romans. So these potin coins themselves are very much instrumental in the idea of circulation coins. But when we talk about circulation coins, is it the same idea as circulation coins today? This is that thing that we discussed in last night. We weren't really sure what was going on, whether they had circulation coins or not. But one of the words that we were using last night was the word stater, right? A quarter stater is the size of just under the size of a modern one pence piece in weight, right? But what we've got developing in the Iron Age in Britain, we've got a full stater, we've got a half stater, and we've got a quarter stater, right? And when you start thinking about this, and we've got potin coins like this, and we've got sort of low metal coins. Oh, and by the way, we've got forged coins as well. There were forgeries in, for example, there were forgeries in Iron Age Britain. What they would do, they would have a base metal, like a bit of a bronze metal, and they would dip it in gold. Right, gold coin. Don't tell him down the road. Right, they were forgeries. It was going on. I used to know somebody years ago. They used to they used to make a little bit of money out of making forged coins. Right. I know they asked me this one time, where can you get an electronic weighing scales, right? And I told them, and they got an electronic weighing scales. They managed to get the weight of these coins directly right, and they were able to put them in slot machines, and they were able to make a lot of money out of getting money out of slot machines, right? I used to know this person years ago. No, it wasn't me, right? If it was, I would be very wealthy today. It definitely wasn't me. But all those coins that Richard used to have that were bent in his pocket was because of this person that I used to know, right? And yes, so that, and basically it's all about weight. Forged coins are all about weight, not the design. It's all about weight, right? And this is the whole point. So it goes all the way back to the Iron Age. Right now, this coin itself is a coin that what they did, they tried to replicate coins using this potin metal, right? Oh, and by the way, potin is a little bit like white metal. I don't know if you ever used to melt down lead in your frying in your mum's sort of best pan. Well, I did. My mum still got this. She's got these aluminium pans. Well, I used to melt down lead in the kitchen, and I used to have little molds in the garden, and I used to make lead weights, and I used to make lead cannons and stuff. Right, I never used to tell my mum this. Right, I used to melt the and this is the thing, this sort of tradition about making things, casting into molds is going all the way back, and again, we try to replicate things. Well, when you think about this, you're thinking, well, those replicating these thorough coins from all the way down. Now, these coins date back to about 100 years before the birth of Christ. So these are known as the thorough potins, right? And what you can clearly see there's a sprue, right? Sprue, Barney, McGrew. So in other words, what you've got a little mold, right? This is a cast mold. You've got a little mold, and basically you've got a hole there, a little bit of a sprue. Right, hole there, a little bit of a sprue. You've got a little bit of a chain of these things, right? And you pour in there, but you've got to pour quite quickly, right? That's where the sprues, right? You cut the sprue off, that's a sprue, but these aren't perfectly cut sprues, right? Sprue, Barney McGrew, and there's actually lettering on that one above. So when we're looking at this one here, we're looking at, this is known, again, they're known as flat potins, right? And I don't the way they're producing this, obviously there's an obverse and a reverse on them. So there must have been, as they're producing these, either they're dripping them into the mold, so you've got one image, or they're dripping them into a mold. That's a two-place mold, right? Depending which way, but both ways were used, right? But these are not stamped. These are not die stamped. My first I actually went to Jorvik Viking Centre years ago, right? When I was a child prodigy of archaeology, I used to get free access to all these museums and stuff across Britain. And I went to Jorvik Viking Centre once, and the manager said, "Oh, right, do you want to come over here and make your own coin?" So I did. I made my own coin, but I was making dies. That was using dies, not using this sort of casting method. Right now, interestingly enough, what we've got when they're making coins in Britain, they're really not sure what they're looking at, right? So what they've got, somebody said, what we got, we've got like we've got this, right? We've made this coin, right? And somebody down the road said, right, I'm going to copy this, right? I'm going to make a copy of this, right? Note that that's a bull, right? Or it could actually be a horse, but it clearly looks like a bull, right? So then somebody's making a copy, right? This isn't a forger, this is somebody making a copy. That's what comes out. So instead of that on the left being a head, right? Instead of that on the right being a bull, right? It comes out like this. So that's a copy of the other coin. It's not a forgery, right? Define the difference between a copy and a forgery, right? A forgery is when you deliberately go to deceive somebody, right? So so basically you're going to there's a guy down the road, right? He's making gold coins, right? Well, you haven't got a lot of gold, right? And you want to copy his coins. So you think, right, you have a base metal, right? And you dip it. That's a forgery. Okay? It's not, because at this stage, the definition between making a copy, right? Lots of tribes were making copies of somebody else's coin, but they're not forgeries. A forgery is when you deliberately go out to make out that it's gold, and it's not. That's a forgery. That's the big difference, right? So you can clearly see that they're trying to make these things, and now this is where your mind starts to go a little bit, right? And the mind starts to go a little bit, and somebody's saying, why can't we look at these images in a color? And the reason why, when we do look at lots of color images, by the way, tonight, but the reason why we're looking at black and white is because you've got the definitions are better. I'm an old-fashioned thinking archaeologist. The definitions are better when you look at that. Yeah. So it's like, okay, are they initially, right? This is the point. Initially, are they producing coins to that tell us that they've got a set leader that is somebody, right? No, they're making copies, right? That's different, right? They're not producing their own designs yet, right? But when they start making copies of things, they start to produce designs that then go on to having designs where you get horses on them, right? And on the right there, you can just about make a horse, right? Yes, that is a horse. Somebody's decided that those things there are going to be a horse's legs, right? And that's going to be the rest of the body, right? And somewhere along the line, that's somebody's face and that's their hair, right? But are they going out to doing this yet, right? So what they're trying to do, they're trying to think, right, okay, right. So hang on a minute. There was a head there, right? It comes out like this, and somewhere along the line, somebody said, "Oh, why do we give it a bit of a go at putting a head on it?" So it turns out like that on the left. Oh, that's a copy of a copy. We don't know. So we're still about roughly bears and buttocks were around about 70 years BC, which is around just after the Spartacus sort of rebellion, and so that type of time in Rome. So what we're talking about is here in Britain, we're really starting to give coins a go. Now, hang on a minute. We're starting to give coins a go, and we're thinking, hang on a minute. Julius Caesar hasn't even invaded Britain yet. So bingo, you've got it. We're doing our own coin thing. We're doing our sexy designs, right? Whatever they are, whatever you want to call these things sexy. But I tell you what, I've been having an absolute thing over looking at some coins that some of these really nice designs that we're going to come on to in a few minutes are really, really beautiful. By the way, I don't. Has anyone seen the film Nosferatu yet? Absolutely love it. Good. Didn't we mention that last week? I think we did. But anyway, I just thought I'd mention that. I don't know if Goff has actually seen that yet. But what we've got now next. So there we go. These are full staters, right? A full stater is not just is not quite the size of a 2 pence piece, but it's just under that and above the size of 1 pence piece. And it's all about weight, right? So the quarter stater isn't much smaller than a full stater, right? But a quarter stater is thinner than a big fat full stater, right? Oh, and can you remember that when we had that conference at the at Wenvo, and there was a farmer that came in and he said, "Oh, look at this! I found one of the only silver coins from the Iron Age to be found in South Wales," and he showed it to us, and it was great. And then he come in and he panicked. He said, "Oh my God, I've lost the coin!" He'd only stupidly put it in a cup, hadn't he? Right?
Oh.
And it was just about to be washed by Louisa, right? Anyway, he got the coin. Anyway, he's passed away since, but we do find these coins. But we do. This is the point. This is another thing I want to chuck in here because I totally forgot to mention this last night. I mentioned this guy, right? When in Wales, there's been an Iron Age coin hoard found in Anglesey, right? Not a massive coin hoard, not millions of coins, but a nice little coin hoard. We do find coins dotted around the place, right? For example, in a live show, I've just asked the printer now to actually replicate on a bit of a canvas a coin that was found in in near Gwent, not in near Gwent, near Newport in Gwent, and you know they do get found as a gold coin. We do find occasionally silver and gold coins across Wales. And why are they here? Why are they in Wales? Basically, they've ended up in Wales because somebody has managed to get one from maybe one of the tribal peoples in the southeast or somewhere like that. But we're starting to find bigger numbers of coins, and why are they here? We don't know. And it's really odd, isn't it, Anne, that we've got these gold coins come into Wales, right? And we don't produce these coins in Wales when the gold from Wales is going to England and Ireland to produce gold coins. It just makes no sense. One of the statements of my one of the statements I made.
Then you've got the gold coming from Ireland. That's
what I just mentioned exactly. Yeah. So one of the things that we do find, if I go off you now a minute and just show you this little chart. Hang on, where is it? Right, here we go. I showed them this last night. I basically said I showed them this, and I basically said, right. So interesting enough, get rid of that. So interesting enough, the coin producing tribal peoples, right, are basically here, right. All of these, right. If you notice, all the gold is being found outside that area, right. Now, this is really strange. And if you look at some of these facts and figures, right? If you look at some of these facts and figures, folks, you will note that Clogau gold mine from 1862 to 1911, over 165,000 tons of gold was mined, plus other valuable metals. Now, remember, that's not all gold, right? But even if that's 165,000 tons, even if that's 5,000 tons of gold that's being mined in Wales and between 1862 and 1911, how much gold has actually been mined in the Iron Age, right? So there's one fact. Forest of Dean, there we go. In 1960, there were reports of gold being found Forest of Dean. Gold mining has recently begun in Camborne and Falmouth, so there must have been loads of it available in the Iron Age anyway, right? So here we go. North Pennines, some gold being found in the rivers there. But if we go to Scotland, here we go. We start to go up on this chart and we start to see things like in this locality, which is north of Edinburgh, Tyndrum. Total gold estimated to be up to almost 2 million ounces. This area was first mined for silver in 1424 and then gold after. And you start to think, well, hang on a minute, folks. Let's just ask this one big question, right? And this is for Peter, right? This is a Peter thing, right? How is it the parts of Britain, such as Cornwall, the parts of Britain such as Cymru, Wales, the parts of Britain such as Scotland and Northern Ireland are some of the poorest parts of the British nation, when in fact in the past they were some of the most wealthiest parts of the British nation? Isn't that really strange? And it's a thing today. It's almost as if the wealth goes over to the east, and then and they do goldy things, and you're thinking about the good old so this isn't a political thing, I'm just making a statement really. It's looking about the M4 corridor is really wealthy south of that, and up north it's not. And it's a thing that's been throughout history, really. Anyway, let's go back to those images. And if we go back to there, we've done that one, and we've done that one. Let's look at that. Yarmouth. So we're going up to Yarmouth, so we're going into East Anglia way. So we're thinking about we're thinking about that coin there. Look at that one. You can maybe see a horse on there. And obviously that's sort of a head on the left there. The stuff on the left hand side of that coin is actually the hair, and the stuff on the right is the face. And you might think that that's a nose, that triangle thing there, and it's also similar there. But there's nothing really clear. But what is clear is the horse. Remember the two designs there. And this is known as a acute stator. You're thinking that the design of the horse on the top bit isn't as clear as the design of the horse on the bottom there in the right hand corner. But that is a wheel. Now, what did we say? Well, one of the things I've really got to say is this, right? I'm in a bit of the middle, right? Because I've written books on the Romans, I've written papers on the Romans, and so on, right? And one of the criticisms of me, for people of me, used to be that, oh, Karl, you'd always talk about the Romans doing this and that, and if it wasn't for the Romans, this and that wouldn't have happened. And I usually turn around and actually read the stuff that I've actually written. I don't say that at all. But some Roman writers actually say that, oh, Romans introduced coinage, right? The Romans introduced um not chariots, they introduced carts and wagons, they introduced roads, and they introduced towns and cities, and they introduced canals, and they introduced all these things. And you think, no, they didn't. All this was already here. I've given lectures for months about this. All this stuff was already here. And I don't know why Bill said, oh, he's done the Iron Age to death. We haven't done the Iron Age to death. There's so much to learn about the Iron Age yet, Bill. I stand corrected. However, what we're talking about is these designs on these guys are absolutely fascinating. And there you've got now. So what you're talking about on the left-hand side, right, is that you almost look on the left-hand side, even though that looks like a head, right, on the left-hand side. I'm actually making wheel movements with my hands here. I don't know why, but the design on the left, it is known as a Clacton stator. And you're thinking that maybe on the left it looks like a little bit more like a wheat sheaf developing, right? It looks like and this is what we actually see on coins. Some of these things actually develop from sort of headgear into a wheat sheaf, right? Just a little bit about numismatics again. When you've got head design right on a coin, that's your obverse, and when you've got something else on the back, that's the reverse. It's a bit of numismatics, right? And I tell you what, right? I used to be a stamp collector back in the day in Cardiff. There were about 3 numismatic shops in Cardiff, but there was one like coin thing. But I was really into my stamps, and stamps, for me, don't stamps give a bigger buzz for me, though it did in the past, than coins. But now coins do give a bit of a buzz, because when you look at these coins, you've got history. That's the bloody point. One of the points about coins, it's telling you that we were able to write.
Well,
right,
this
because
is it. This is what I get annoyed with.
Go for it.
Iron Age. I always think of the roundhouses, or the wherever they live in, and the clothes they wore, and it's very, very simplistic. But when you look at these coins and some of the pottery and all the things that they actually made, they were really clever.
Their civilization, Anne. Their civilization, yeah. And I showed an image last week of Khalifa Atrabatum, and it basically, with some rectangular buildings and circular buildings, and basically developing into a city. And you're thinking, well, Britain didn't need the bloody Romans. We really didn't.
No.
And Anne's point is Anne, that was a really good interruption for once. Anne, you do get marks for the right interruptions at the right times, right? But don't whatever you do interfere with Goff, because he gets very, very upset. That would be a fine thing, yeah. But anyway, so what we've got, we're now starting to see these designs, but they're really obscure. They're really, really odd. They're really weird. And what we've got, the tribal people known as the Karl-james tribe, which is basically south of Lincoln, north of another Roman city known as Verulamium, or St. Albans. But you'll find that the name Verulamium, right? In fact, this is one thing that you might learn tonight as well. There's some of the names on coins, like Vera, V-E-R, right, which was produced in the Iron Age, right? The name then Verulamium, given to St. Albans, the name was actually derived from the Iron Age. So we do actually have some, and we see this from coins, Anne, and this is the point. We have history on coins. Now let's go to a quarter stater. This is actually a quarter stater. This is a gold quarter stater, and you can actually see that is really odd. That is a really odd design. However, let's stop. Let's stop a minute. Now, I went into this. This is a true story. Back about 1984, right? I think I went with my granddad Bill to a flea market in Cardiff, right? Or was it was my mum or something? And I basically had about £5 pocket money. And there were two coins on a table, right? And they basically got you can have an Iron Age coin, right? And I think I actually bought both of them, right? I learned a lesson that day, right? One of them was not Iron Age, and the other coin was. And the one that wasn't Iron Age was actually a coin from China, right? Which was produced in the mid 1800s. So whenever you, this is true, right? You see some of the obscure design that we got on our coins, right? Our Iron Age coins look very similar to coins that were produced 1,700 years or whatever later, in places like India or China or the Middle East, and that's something to be very, very wary of. Just because you see something that looks Iron Age doesn't mean to say it is Iron Age. And that's another point. That is a really point. That is another point, because lots of when you start looking at some of these designs, particularly the one on the left, right? This is from the northeast coast, so we're talking about Lincolnshire way, right? The Cora, like I really struggle with this. The Corel-Tavanai tribe, right? The Corel-Tavanai tribe, probably because I don't say it much. They're sort of south of Lincolnshire in that area. They produce this type of coin. This coin itself, right? Is basically, again, they've got these designs of a horse on there. It's not by accident that there's a design of a horse on lots of these coins. It's not by accident that there's a really obscure head design on the one on the left. It's not by accident. These meant something to people, right? These meant something to people. Let's just give you an example. Now I have not seen a single coin that's got the head of King Charles on it. Not a single one, right? But obviously we used to live with coins of the good old Queen Elizabeth II all the time. And as you know, I was a great Queen Elizabeth monarchist, and I'm no longer a monarchist at all. But one thing, talking about being a Queen Elizabeth monarchist, was the fact that we used to have these coins in our pocket, which was identity. That was our identity. The head of the Queen was our identity. As the head of the Queen on our stamps was our identity, on our banknotes, right? This is the same as these coins. It's their identity. That horse meant something to these people. It meant something to these people. By the way, I should have news in the next few days about our Mary Lloyd, our Barry Mary, right? Oh, and by the way, I need to put that on my list when I talk about in the next in the listing pillar that you've got. I need to mention that we've got a Barry Mary, and when we do events, Anne, at St. Barrack's Chapel, because at St. Barrack's Chapel on Barry Owen we're doing little plays as well, Anne. We're going to have our own Barry Mary along, right?
Yeah.
And by the way, Richard, right, there's a job for you that Kate has actually got for you, Richard, which you're not going to be happy with, but I'll let her tell you, Rich. Anyway, so Richard's involved in the plays, by the way, apparently. Anyway, so what we've got, again, moving on with these coins. You're now starting to see something very set abstractively. I don't know if that's the right word, abstractively. So in Lincolnshire wise as well, just sort of between the 60, 50 years BC barrier. And the reason why I mention that, somewhere like that, right, is these coins themselves are coming in just before belts and braces of Julius Caesar. Right, and the reason why I'm saying belt and braces of Julius Caesar is because people can argue, oh, right, Julius Caesar comes over, the Romans drop coins, we copy them. Nonsense. We're already making our own coins, right? We don't copy those coins at all. We might melt them down and make our own coins out of them. That's something else. So that is really odd. That coin itself is found in Lincolnshire, right? We find lots of coins, metal detected, archaeologists find as well. In Lincolnshire, where you've got those endless fields in Lincolnshire. We call Lincolnshire the dust bowl of Britain, because you've got these big open fields where basically it's quite easy to find coins, because it's like a dust bowl, and and coins are quite revealed quite easily. You can wander across lots of fields in Lincolnshire. You can see coins just wandering across fields, right? But the one there is known as a sky fate coin, okay? Or a Chi Fate coin. Drop the S, Chi Fate coin, not Sky Fate, Chi Fate. And again, these are associated with a Corel Tavanai tribe, right? Again, south of Lincolnshire, that type of area. This side of East Anglia, because on the right-hand side, you've got the Iceni tribe. Now, I'm loving this coin because what I'm going to do is that that coin looks. It says it's the Norfolk wolf, right? But equally, if you sort of squint your eye, that might look like a cat, or you squint your eye and that might look like a horse, right? But it clearly looks like a wolf, right? Now, this is really interesting, right? Do we have cats on coins? Maybe we do. Do we have horses on coins? Yes. Do we have wolves on coins? Yes. Right. So there's these reoccurring things. Not many wolves, by the way. These might, and it's very likely that the wolf. When you think about the wolf, you think a little bit for sort of over towards the left. There, you've got Lincolnshire, you've got Northamptonshire, and then you've got Robin, Robin, the hooded man. You got Robin Hood, right? And what have you got there? Wolves in the Great Woodlands, right? So it's like that sort of folklore type thing with wolves, and they're putting wolves on these coins. And also, when you think about these coins as well, eventually they've got pellets around the outside. Why they got pellets around the outside, we don't know. And actually, you could actually think that those are pellets there. And usually we're told that you've got pellets on coins to actually act against, people cutting a bit of gold or silver off these coins. That wasn't the case back then, or maybe it was in some cases. One of the things I would say, what is the value of these coins back then? Well, some of these gold coins or silver coins today might fetch £100,000, right? But back in the day, they were 10 a penny. There were loads of gold coins. When you wander around, for example, the likes of Peru, and you think of Chile, and you think about the Incan civilization, there was loads of gold around, right? That's the conquistadors overnight were the Spanish were the most valuable trading power on the planet because of all the gold they're finding it just off the ground, right? Was there that much gold that was being found off the ground in places like Lincolnshire and East Anglia? But it's not from that area. But there's lots of gold. There's lots of gold talks. So what's more valuable back then, gold or iron? I've had this conversation with you before. Gold or iron? Iron is far more difficult to produce. You've got heavy mining. Gold is readily available. Wales, Northern England, Scotland, bloody Ireland as well. Don't forget Peter's Cornwall. Don't forget that, right? So why have we got iron coins being produced in the Iron Age? It's quite simple. You're not going to be able to produce iron coins with the iron dyes. It's iron against iron to make an impression in a coin, right? So it's very likely, obviously, if you've got iron coins, they're going to corrode quite rapidly, and they realize that. And it's very likely as well when you want to think about this, your coins are going to be made out of metals that are not really useful for much else, right? Like gold and silver. For example, you can't make a plowshare out of gold. Right. Sorry, you can't. You can't make a sword out of silver. You can't make so you use all the other things. So iron's being used for the practical things. I think somebody wants to say something, they chuck it in there now. But this is why we don't have iron coins. If you want to say something, could say it now. No. Right. Now, as you know, these days, guys, lots of our coins that used to be produced by the Royal Mail. Royal Mail's not even owned by Britain anymore. Royal Mint. Most of the coins that used to be produced by the Royal Mint, for example, the 1 and the 2 pence coins were actually made of iron, right? And then they would dip them, and that was the coin, right? We're not really producing coins in the Royal Mint anymore, but we basically, because our coins were being so devalued in Britain, right? We use base metals which weren't worth a lot, like iron. But back in the Iron Age, the base metals like iron were far more valuable than the silver and gold back in the day, and that's the point. And people can interrupt and say, Carl, you're talking out of your filicles, but I'm not. This is the Weydon Chase Stater. Now look, the beautiful design on the left Is that representative of a bird? Where are they getting that idea from? That's the point. Where are they getting that idea from? They're not getting that from the continent on the left. That's coming from our belt and braces metal workers in Britain. And look at that design there. Now, interesting enough, when I was talking about this yesterday, they defined this as Pegasus, right? Pegasus, that's like not British, is it? That there apparently is actually the wings of Pegasus, right? Those are the wings of Pegasus, right? And that's Pegasus. But you're thinking about this, right? If we drop Pegasus, right? What have we got in oh God, where are we? I need to get there. What have we got in British mythology? Right, we've got the Mary Lloyd, but the Mary Lloyd hasn't got wings. But what does have wings in British mythology? The Keffel Dur.
Dragon.
The drag. Ah, we mentioned dragons last night. And it's not going to come up for the next minute, but there's a coin coming up. Are we going to get to that before the break? I don't know, but there's a coin coming up that looks like a dragon, right? That does look like a dragon, and you need to spot where it is, right? And if it's not where you think it is, right, a dragon design does come up. However, the Keffel Dur, which is the Welsh water horse, right? I'll tell you the bit about the legend. Basically, Del, if you're going out with your good old Mrs. Jane, right, and your car breaks down, you're up in the Brecon Beacons, right, and it's misty and foggy, don't leave your car, Del, right? Let the recovery people find you. Because if you let Jane leave the car and she disappears, it might be because she's been enticed by the Keffel Dur to jump on the Keffel Dur's back. Now, the Keffel Dur gives you an option. If you're able to ride the Keffel Dur and you're confident riding the Keffel Dur as it shoots through the sky, right, it'll bring you back to Del, right? But if Jane isn't confident on the horse, she will suddenly fall out the sky and she'll be lying in front of you, Del, and she'll be a bit dazed, right? 6 months later, Del, Jane will be saying, Del, feel my belly, right? You'll suddenly hear a kick. You'll suddenly feel a kicking, and you'll feel one hoof. You'll feel another hoof, and you'll feel all four hooves, and you're actually having twins, Del, not a horse. So there we go. so Del, if Jane, hang on, who's this? Hang on a minute. Why is Bill back?
Oh, sorry. Carry on.
Bill, you've missed all the good stuff. We were talking about Jane getting pregnant because she's been playing around with the Keffel Dur. Exactly. The Keffel Dur. So basically what we then got is that little thing at the bottom there. You can see that there. That looks like something, and that starts to develop again into the wheel. So what we've got, we've done a little bit of we've done right. Okay, just try and get this into context. So about 100 years BC, they're replicating coins, right, using protein and various other things, right? And the coins are not really descriptive, right? Then you've got coins that they don't really, they're just anything. They're just trying to copy things, right? And then they're starting to come up with their own designs. And what we've got there is the design of the head on the left, because that's where it started off on the left, particularly the one at the bottom. These designs become something else. So in other words, it's like Chinese whispers. You know how Chinese whispers works? It's basically somebody says there's an elephant there, and then somebody says there's a fant there. What did he say? And there's somebody said an oliphant, right? What's an oliphant? And said a font. And then, oh, right, okay, what? Water. Yeah, water. Yes, water. So you get from an elephant to water, right? So this is what we're looking at with the designs on the left. 1 minute they started off as a head, and the next minute they've ended up what we've got there on the left. So what you've got there, interesting enough, what you've got there, they're starting to get very flowy, right? Now we can be really. We can be. What I'm going to do, right? I'm going to ask. Who am I going to Del? You got a good imagination, right? That coin there, right? Just tell me a story about that coin there on the right hand side. Just give me a story.
Yeah.
Developers, but Del, you've got like 30 seconds to tell us a story about that coin. That's all I want.
Yeah, it was drawing a chariot, and the wheels fell off. One's underneath it, the other one's flying away in the sky.
And you know what? You know, I can't ask for anything. I can't actually ask for anything better than that. But what I'm going to go with also is maybe, right, that in the sky represents the sun, or it might actually represent a comet, right? Because when you think again, I'm Dell went off in fantasy. I can do fantasy as well. When you think about them describing, for example, in the past, Halley's Comet, right? Halley's Comet sort of appears in sort of medieval manuscripts. It's something like that, right? Like a weird thing. Maybe that's a comet, or maybe Dell's right. Maybe there's a representative of a chariot falling to bits, and that's what happened. But you've got a very good. Thanks for that, Del. You've got a really nice strident horse. However, what you do have is these things as well, which are almost ocular looking eyes. That you've got eyes on coins as well. And then you can think, right, what on a banknote, where is there an eye, right? Yes, on that, we're basically that sort of where you've got an American banknotes, you've got a triangle and you've got an eye above it, right? There you go. Is that copied from our coin designs that go all the way back? Is that what the Americans? It's a Masonic symbol, the eye, right? But you don't have Masons in the Iron Age, right? Or there's something going on. Anyway, cracking on, cracking on. Now what you've got is, again, this is an Atrebatic coin. The capital city of the Atrebatic people is known as Anne.
Caluman and Atrebati.
Oh, for God's sake, you had it first. I'm not going to ask you again. Leave Atrebatum. That's the one, Bill. That's the one, Bill. And do you know what, Bill? Do you know what, Bill? Right. I gotta say something. Basically, we had planned to bring back some excursions a couple of weeks ago, and then when we planned something for York, nobody wanted to do it, so we decided not to. But if ever I became a famous actor, Bill, right, we're going to hire a minibus, right, and we're going to go to Silchester. We're going to go to Cleaver Atrebatum and just look at the walls, right? And Pat's gonna come with us after looking at 10 Roman sites. We're gonna get to Silchester, and she's gonna say I'm all Romaned out.
Good. If it ever happens.
Good. Yeah, if it ever happens, you never know what might do.
No harm in dreaming about it.
Exactly. But anyway, that again, what we're looking at is again these Atrebatic coins. Remember, we're looking at something quite fascinating there, and this is what we're talking about. Is these people, these tribal peoples, sort of from around London, north of London, west of London. We're looking about Kent, south of London to places like Fishbourne. Fishbourne's really important at this stage as well, because it's likely that the Regnite tribe and the Belgae tribe and the Atrebatic tribe, they're starting to get very Romanized. So that's when you get on the south coast, when we've got Chichester and we've got the likes. I absolutely love Fishbourne when I used to go there. It's the only Roman site in Britain that's actually got a train station. But and I know Bill's been there as well. But look, thinking about Fishbourne, that was initially one of these great tribal locations that they actually started mucking around with the Roman world before the Roman worlds got here. It was a palace before the Romans, interesting enough. So what we've got here, then the next thing that we're actually looking at, right? And I do believe, we've got a few of these. Right, before we get to this, right, we chuck in a few names like Apelles, right, and Apelles was actually a relative of Commius, right? So we've got Apelles, right, and this is a coin of Apelles, and with an Atrebati leader. So we got Commius, we got Apelles, and we got we've got his brother, right? And there's a war, right? And you know, this all comes into it. But we'll look a little bit in a short while. But what we do have on this coin, what we do. I've got some images tonight of coins that come from the likes of you know, these leaders and these up and coming leaders, the Atrebates, who are conquering people, right? The Atrebates want to conquer everybody, right? Eventually, the Atrebata kingdom would have been so big that they would have probably become the original English people, right? But that didn't happen because the Romans invaded, right? But what we've got some lettering on here as well, right? And that's very important that they're starting to use, in a way, they're starting to use their own dialect, right? And they're starting to Romanize it, right? And again, look at that one there. It almost looks like that must be a sun above a coin of Commius, right? This great leader, this Atrebatic leader, Commius. Now, Commius would have been known. Commius would have known Julius Caesar. Julius Caesar would have known Commius. And there's where we go on to another diatribe. And the diatribe is as follows, right? And you can pick up that coin for a lowly £780. But that is a really cheap coin. Probably is so cheap, really, because we've still got thousands of these still about, which coin collectors have got. There are coins of some of these leaders that we've only got one, and those coins go for the price tag of £100,000. But I just want to tell you a little bit of a story, right? And I think this is a nice little bit of a fantasy, right? Now, just think, Julius Caesar was actually a coin collector. Right now, when Julius Caesar failed invasion in 56 BC, followed by a successful invasion in 55 BC and then 54 BC, he had tribute paid to him by over 10 tribal leaders from across Britain, including the King of Orkney. But anyway, what did they pay in tribute? They probably paid in coins, right, or gold bars. And can you imagine? Julius Caesar, a coin collector, he probably said to his moneyer, right, I want a coin. I want a full collection of coins from every British leader in Britain. That's what I want to do, right? You imagine he's basically going through these coins. I want that coin of Commius, right? Commius is coming in a little bit later, but you get the scene, right? Commius is dad. Oh, I want his coin, right? I want a coin collection, and that's what he probably did. I know it sounds like fantasy, but Julius Caesar collected coins. Amazingly enough, he did. By the way, Anne, the dodgy git is on, and he's asking if you like cake, right? So this is a coin of Epilus, and you can clearly see that again a gold coin. And can you see what I mean by looking at black and white images? The gold takes away the my explaining, because I'm just golded out. You just looking at the gold and it's just flashing in your eyes, or it really, really is. This is a quarter stater, just the size of a pence piece. And you can see there that if you're going to buy these things, this isn't about money, but you can see that obviously the idea that gold is incredibly powerful today, when it probably wasn't that powerful back in the day. Back in the day, this coin, they would have made about 10,000 of these, right? And there's probably a few dozen out there today, right? Because they've all been melted down and so on. Anyway, back to this. So these coins, I don't know if any of you watch the metal the Detectorists, or you've seen the series by Mackenzie Crook. Yeah, and it's known as the Danebury Metal Detecting Club. There you go, Danebury, right? And this is a Danebury coin. Now, interesting enough, the coin on the left is very interesting from another reason, and the coin on the right is also interesting from another reason. The coin on the right, you can basically see that it's almost as if there's like a tongue or something projecting from the mouth. Well, obviously, you can clearly make this out. Are we looking into the faces of these leaders who produced these coins? Produced by the Atrebatu tribe, so the Danebury is sort of the mix between the Belgi and the Regnai tribe, which was eventually partly conquered by the Atrebatu people. But that's another lecture altogether. Are we looking at the heads and the faces of these leaders? Right, not really coming across a woman yet, but there's no reason why there weren't Iron Age women leaders, as we see with Prasutagus' wife, Boudica, right? And we talk about the Iceni. She became a leader in her own right. Did she produce coins? Yes, she did. So there are women who are actually producing these coins. But what we've got there is that we're getting an idea of that they want to tell us who they are, right? So the design on the right isn't brilliant, right? Okay, it's not brilliant. The design. So we've got a bronze on the right. We've got a silver on the left. But one thing I'd like to say is after this presentation today, right? Do your own bloody research, right? After this presentation today, look at coins, Anglo-Saxon coins, right? Anglo-Saxon coins look like that design on the left, except the design on the left is a lot better than the Anglo-Saxon coins. It's almost as if Anglo-Saxon people copy Iron Age coins. It's a really, really interesting point that it really, really is. You know something else? Let's have a little look at another coin, and I've got to be very wary tonight. I've got to check the time. It's 8:45. Now I have got to be finished at 9:30, and the reason why I've got to be finished at 9:30 is because I want to start finishing these lectures at 9:15. Right, and I've got to try and chuck in a little bit of a break here, so I've got to be very careful over my time tonight, right? Because I've got a few images that I want to show you, and I'm going to then start. Okay, I don't know if I'm going to get to that before the break. The Sego coin, the Kuno coin. I'm gonna have to speed up, right? I'm really gonna have to speed up, right? So the next coin, oh, look at that again, a Belgi Danebury coin. There you go. Now, is this two wheels? Is this as Dell said? But you can actually see pellets, right? These pellets on the side, which would eventually frame these coins, right? The idea of pellets. Again, guys, haven't you spotted another thing? The pellet design, having a pellet frame, these little dots around the outside of coins, the Iron Age people gave us that, right? Even though it's dropped for generations, the Iron Age people gave us this. You know, the Iron Age people have given us so much. And Anne's point earlier on, okay, let's just do an Anne quickly, right? Boring, basic people. And suddenly Anne said, but these are fascinating people producing their own coins. They're really advanced and civilized. That was Anne's point, and Anne is dead right. This again, we've got basically a trophy quarter stater. Again, this is just under the size of a 1 pence coin. Now, this was produced slightly after the Julius Caesar period, right? As it's got there, slightly produced after Julius Caesar period. Is this coin trying to imitate on one side a Roman coin, right? And you've got an edge there as well. They're starting to put edges on these coins, pellets on these coins. Basically, what you've got a gold nugget, right? And they've hammered one side, and that could almost be you could squint your eyes and say, oh, that's a bit Roman, doesn't it? You know, so they're copying this, right? Basically, we're again a gold stater of Commius. Now, Commius, this great leader, Commius, who's the great leader of the Atrebatii people. Now, basically, Commius producing his coins after about 50 years BC. We got the Commius lingering around before that as well. Commius was a friend of Julius Caesar, and then he turned against Julius Caesar. And Commius sent a force to assist Vercingetorix at the siege of Elysae. But Commius's force did not get to help Vercingetorix in 51 BC. So this was after Julius Caesar actually left Britain. And basically, the reason why around Elysae, which is we believe is near Paris, there was 200,000 people in a massive sort of fortification with native Britons under Vercingetorix. And the point is that the Romans fortified the entire thing to stop people actually getting to Vercingetorix. And one of these people was Commius with his band, right? So what we've got, basically the children of Commius, Atincamarus, Epulus, and then the usurper Verica. So these three figures are really important when we're looking at the Atrebatii people. It's actually a family tree. And how do we know about their names? The names are on the coins, for God's sake. they're enshrined in the coins, because the coin that you're actually looking at there has actually got the name Commius written on it. So there we go. We've got the two M's, right? We've got an M and we've got an N, right? We've got an I there, we've got an O, and we've got an S, and somewhere along there would be the Commius. So we've got the name Commius. Commius is enshrined on the coin. So if anyone ever says to me that we didn't write in Britain before the Romans, we did. We may have used Latin, but it was an Latinized form of our language, right? And why is there an E on this coin? And there on the left is the head of Commius, right? Again, Commius is like the bloody queen, for example. You know, Commius is the one to go to. You know, that's the one who's going to be this great leader, but his kingdom's divided into two. And the kingdom is divided into two, with the territory they've captured in the south, just north of Fishbourne. And the other bit of the territory is held. One part of the territory is held by Tin Camaras, and Epilus holds the territory of the city, which is called. Say it, Caliver Atrabatum. Guys, you are slow tonight. You really are slow. You really are. Even with Bill tonight, it's not bringing it up. Here's an Atrabate Commius silver unit. Again, a horse. This very strident horse. Basically, it's talking. There we got lentoid eyes, which is, I think, in the right hand side of this coin, not really shown. And it's talking about curved ladder for hair. And you've got a small phallic face in front. Well, I would like to say that the phallus is actually underneath the horse, but that's my interpretation. But again, we've got to mention phalluses in these lectures, because Pat likes talking about them. Tin Camaras, there we got a stator of Tin Camaras. Tin Camaras, so you've got the two leaders leading over the Atrabates, you've got the ones in the Epilus in the north, and you've got Tin Camaras in the south. Now, there you go. The name of Tin Camaras, not the Trinovantes, Tin Camaras. There it is. And again, isn't that great? And look at that coin. I tell you what, the Anglo-Saxons didn't produce coins like that. In fact, in Britain, we didn't produce coins again like this, other than the Roman Empire, right? We didn't produce coins like this until probably the 1600s, right? But look at that. That coin is produced by our native British peoples. And that is a perfect prancing, strident, prancing horse, right? That might be copied by Roman designs, but bugger me, it's wonderful. It's a really interesting coin. It really, really is. You know, it's really starting to tell us, and really starting to set the scene. And quiet, it's really starting to set the scene. So basically, what we've got, the status, these two coins, the status of Tin Camaras, the earlier type above, it's saying the Celtic style. Obviously, yeah, that's the right terminology. Celtic is a style. It's an it's an artistic form rather than a people movement, right? So a Celtic style, that's correct. And there you go. Then you've got the Romanized design below, and the correct name of his ruler, Tin Camaras or Tin Commius, depending on which you want to say this. I've said Tin Camaras, Tin Commius. And there you got and what we've got there is that these coins set the scene. They set the die. And some of these coins, particularly the one there on the bottom, that is far better than lots of the Roman coins that are being produced. Right. In other words, Anne, our coins are better than the coins that the Romans introduced in Britain. I'm sorry, that's fact. Right. And this, Tin Camaras, is not under the elk of the Roman Empire yet. And that wouldn't come for another 70 years, my friends. This is interesting, right? Now, yes, the designs, and actually there is a little bit of an and an R inside me when we look at these two coins. Tin Camaras, the coin at the top, but basically there we go. Tincom. Tin Camaros or Tin Commius, right?
Oh,
There's two spellings, Tin Camaros, Tin Commius, as you can tell. But doesn't I tell you what, right? If I gave you that coin now, you would think it's a Roman coin. It's bloody Iron Age, folks. And that other one, it's almost as if they're basically saying on the caption, it says, we'll go with the caption. That silver coin on the left, it says silver unit of Tin Camaras or Tin Commius, father being Commius, kingdom of the Atrebates. So that they're basically importing Roman coins and they're melting them down, right? And making their own coins, which are probably better than the Roman coins, right? And interesting enough, the coin there on the right, it is very odd because that coin looks like a coin from the medieval period of Britain. In fact, the lettering on our medieval coins wouldn't be as good as that, right? So that's known as and also what we've got the word in Rex on there, right? And what I'm trying to get at is the coin of Howell Var that is produced by 950, which I've got a copy of. Not the original, by the way. The coin of Howell Var, right, has got the word Rex on it, right? There you go. But we've got the word Rex being used 1,000 years earlier, right, in the word Rex Cal. Now, we do believe that this is Rex Cal, who was basically King Caliva Atrebatum, right? Or this is actually a coin of Epilus, who actually says that I'm the king of Caliva Atrebatum. It really depends which way you want to go with that. And also, interesting enough, again, you've got a bird, and you've got lettering. Again, this is British coins all over. On British coins, you've got lettering on one side, and you've got lettering on the other side. Iron Age, that's today. It's an Iron Age. That's just where we're getting it from, right? So again, when we think about why do we put, again, I mentioned stamps earlier on. There's a reason why I mentioned stamps. It's the same with coins. On stamps, we've got lots of designs. On coins, we've got lots of designs. What are stamps used for? Instead of sellotaping a coin to an envelope, you put a stamp on an envelope, right? It's exactly the same thing. Stamps are money, but in a paper form, like a miniature banknote.
They are money.
Yeah, there's like a miniature banknote, really, isn't it? A miniature banknote. So there we go. We got look at that. And has nobody seen it? They don't have beards.
No. Well,
They
they
don't.
do. That's an ear. Well, not.
So basically, these people are shaven. If we look at let's look a little bit, right? That there is actually quite lifelike, right? I know it's a thick neck, but there's no hairs on it. There's no beard, right? And we've got the lips there, and we've got the head. Very Anglo-Saxon looking, but a very interesting look to the individual's face, i.e., our friend Tin Camaras, right? Now, Tin Camaras or Tin Commius.
Oh, Tin Camaras.
So what I'm going to do, I'm going to get to another leader called Dub Navalius, who's actually leader of the Cantai people, which is over by Kent. So we'll get to that in a moment. Again, what we've got Epilus. Now, Tin Camaras is basically down in the south of the Atrebate kingdom, right? He's warring with his brother Epilus. And what can Epilus do? Well, he puts bloody eagles on his coins. And that's another point, the eagle on a coin, right? Now, the eagle on a coin. Who uses eagles in history? The Romans. The Germans use the eagle on their standards in Nazi Germany. The Russians use the eagle, right? The Americans use the eagle. The eagle is a sign of power, right? And also, if you can basically see on the coin, and again, you wouldn't get this with, there you go, Epilus. And basically, you've got these optical eyes on these coins on the reverse as well. I'm liking this circular thing. It's much better. Now, and what does the design look like on the left? Just chuck it out. It's a maple leaf. And who uses a maple leaf on their flag?
Canada.
Bingo. Maple leaf. Isn't that maple leaf just exquisite? And also what they've got is almost I think that the detail on you is really good, right? And what can you see that there? It's where the leaf, it's where the stalk of the leaf has been taken off the branch and they stuck it on the coin. Isn't that detail, my friends? Is bloody well detailed. This is actually a coin of Verica, right? Now, Verica is one of those who's basically is also of the ilk of Commius, right? So Verica is the third son of Commius, who basically says, right, Epilus, right, I am now the leader of Caliva Atrebatum, right? And Verica produces his own coins. And now there's competition. He's the third son of Commius, right? Probably had more sons, but he's the third one actually becomes a leader. And basically, his coins now, Verica's coins, have to be better, right, than Tin Commius. And eventually, Tin Commius kicks out. Verica gets rid of Tin Commius, right? Only for somebody around AD 43, right, to get rid of Verica, right? Who at that stage actually has got a palace at the likes of Fishbourne, right? And it's this is a very interesting thing, right? This is argued over by historians, right? Now, you would get one set of historians say that the Romans came over to Britain because they were a pain in the arse and they wanted British gold and they wanted more Lebensraum, and they wanted more territory, and they wanted to conquer, right? Claudius wanted a place to conquer, right? There's the other people on the other side of the coin that say that Verica pleaded with Claudius and basically said, right, Claudius, right, I need your help. I've been usurped by another tribe. I need your help, Claudius. Help me, right? And Claudius said, I'll come over and help. Where did that happen in history? In Wales, for example, the local the tribal people in Wales, for example, start again. I've got my words mixed up. Where has this happened in history? It's happened in history at the time of the Normans. Now, what happened at the time of the Normans? The local leaders in South Wales, i.e., the Iestyn ap Gwrgon, said to the Normans in about just before 1090, come over to Wales and help me from, I want to fight against King Rhys, right? Because King Rhys is threatening me in South Wales, help me, right? So the Normans come over as mercenaries and they decide to stay. And guess what they do? They not only kill King Rhys, they also kill Iestyn ap Gwrgon. And that's exactly what the Romans did earlier on. Verica invites the Romans over to help him. And then the Romans say, we like this place. We're taking over. But I don't think the story's the same. I think Verica basically said, I want to be Romanized. I don't want to die. I'll help you out. And he basically, Verica helped the Romans conquer Britain. Britain helped the Romans conquer Britain. Like Normans, like the Welsh helped the Normans conquer Wales. It's the same with the Romans. I'm going to look at my time now. It's 9:02. I'm going to get to. I want to tell you about a coin. Actually, a very, very important coin that I'm going to show you now. And I'm not going to rush it, and then we'll have a break. So that's another coin of Verica. It looks very imperial, doesn't it? And it's almost as if you've got the true trappings of Rome on that coin. This could be a Roman coin anywhere in the Roman Empire, because lots of Roman coins weren't completely circular at that stage either. They hadn't got that right yet. But what we've got, and if I can double check there, what we've got is these coins down here, right? And look at these coins. Now, this is a coin of Dub no Valenus, and the Roman name for Dover, right, may be based on this guy's name, this leader of the Cantai people, Dub no Valenus, right? Now, we've got the writing of Dub Novalenus on this coin on the left. But what is absolutely fascinating is that this guy has decided to go nuts with the horses, right? So, what have we got? Okay, let's get, oh, hang on, let's get off that. What have we got there? We've got, if I move that there, we've got one horse's head, one horse's neck and a horse's head. We've got one horse's neck and a horse's head. Horse's head. We've got one of the legs. We've got one of the legs, and we've got one of the legs. So in other words, this is really, really fascinating, right? It's got very adventurous. It's got 3 horses on his coin. Now, also, so it's a star-like design, right? Now, you could argue over what the other thing is. Is this a bull? It looks like a bull. Is that an eagle on the bull's back?
No.
We've got these optoidal eyes on the left, on the right there. There's lots going on in these coins. And again, Anne, right? I know I don't know if I want anyone to agree with me, but I certainly agree with myself. Everything that we see on modern coins as we've got today comes out from the Iron Age, not the Roman period, not the Anglo-Saxon, not the Stuart period, not the medieval period, but these coins. This is where we get all our inspirations from coins. And something else, and one other little detail that we've got here. And we can work out that there's like a horse or a Pegasus on the left-hand side. But what we've got on the right-hand side is we've got a moneyer. Now, there's something to be said about the moneyer. The moneyer is the person who sets the seal for coinage. The moneyer has his name placed on coins, right? For example, on the coin of Howell Dda, the name of Howell Dda is on the naming bit is on the obverse, Howell Dda, Howell Rex, actually, Howell with an O rather than a Y, and it's produced in Chester. And on the opposite side, it's got the name Gills on it, Gilles, or is it Giles? Anyway, Gills. And on the opposite side, on the reverse side, that name Gills is the moneyer. Now, if the moneyer would say the moneyer produced 10,000 coins with dedicated to Howell Dda, maybe it produced more, but only one coin survived, right? If any of those coins were said to have a little less silver in them, it would be on the head of Gills. You notice that the head of Gills, the heads and tails, the head of Gills. So it would be on his head. So Gills would need to make sure that there was the right amount of silver in every single one of those 10,000, 11, 12,000 coins that he produced. And exactly the same with these. The weight needs to be the same in every single bloody coin, right? And the differences with this coin is that it's not the moneyer who's shown a name, it's the moneyer who's shown in image, right? And you've got pellets around the outside. This is a revolution for us. This now gives us everything that we need in our modern coinage, right? And actually, we don't have the money on the coins anymore, right? But the standard is set by the Queen or the King, right? So that's what we've got. So everything that we got with modern coins is seen in these Iron Age coins. So what I'm going to do now, we're just going to have a little look at the back now. We're going to look at some more coins on the back, and this is where we get the Pegasus from. And then we've got to take a break right now. These coins are quite interesting. The one on the left, not Verica, Vocenius. Now, the name Vocenius, would we have the name Vocenius if his name hadn't been placed on the person's coins? Yay or nay, we're not sure, right? But coins, there's a point to be made here, right? 2 points. We occasionally find coins in England that have names on them. And that coin with a name on it might be the only coin that we know of tells us about a king that existed in the Anglo-Saxon period. There's no other reference other than that coin to that king's name on a coin in the Anglo-Saxon period, right? When we go to Wales, we've got a good written history, but we don't have coins other than the Howell Var coin, other than some coins that I'll tell you about in the live show, which I'm not going to tell you about tonight. So those are two really interesting points. Coins are massively interesting and powerful in telling us about the history of Britain. Again, I'm going to go on to numismatics again. When you look at our stamps, again, paper coins, when you look at stamps, you've got like you've got sort of heroes on them. You've got like what our celebrations are at Christmas and so on. And that's very important. And we get something like that on our coins as well. Again, referring to Anne's husband's design on the coin associated with the Trevithick steam engine, right? And so on this bit, right, that might actually be is this coin here. Hang on, can I zoom in on that? You can just about see it. You can see the wings on that coin there quickly with the maple leaf on the left. And is the Pegasus design actually, again, repeating this, our Keffeldur, not Pegasus? And the person writing this book may not have been aware of the Keffeldur when they wrote down the name Pegasus.
Yeah.
And that's of a leader known as Aminus. And on that note, it's been a really good flow, right? It's 9:10. So what I'm going to do, is I'm going to stop the share, right? I've got to make sure that that I'm going to be on the same level as we've done last night, and I do believe that I can do it. We're not going to rush after the break, but when we do come back after the break, if we go a couple of minutes over, because we've got to get to Connerboline, so when we after the break, I'm going to show you these. I'm going to show you a few nice little issues, and then we'll call it a night. So, right, Bill, have you got anything? Yeah, have you got to say?
Well, I'm looking at how these coins are made, actually. So I'm thinking, did they carve the image, then set it into a clay mold,
Yes.
then put the clay mold in a kiln to harden it off before they poured the molten gold in?
I.e. the lost wax method, yeah.
In which case, the mold maker was extremely clever artisan in doing what he did. To carve those images, they're so small for the coin, you know. It's remarkable what they did. I really did, you know. It's impressive. It really is.
And hence, and sorry to interrupt. Hence the point that the Munnier is going to be quite an important person in society, and I don't think the Munnier is going to want my friend screw anybody, because the Munnier, as Bill's just demonstrated, is going to be very proud of their product.
He's probably the overseer, the inspection guy, who makes sure that the mold makers get it right, you know, and he's got to approve the design and the manufacture of it, the carving of it, before they actually pour the gold. Yeah, very impressive. Karl, I'm leaving now. I'm going to sleep. So thank you for that.
Hopefully see you again, Bill. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Thanks, Karl. Cheers, mate.
All right.
Take care, Bill.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.
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 Go now as well, but I will be back next week.
Anything you want to say, Del, before you go?
Fantastic. It's nice to see nothing's changed.
Good. See you next week, Del.
Bye.
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 Guys, that actually leads me into saying something before we talk with you guys. That I was thinking of saying to you guys in the next few weeks, if we started at 7 and finished at 9, because that's a demonstration of two people wanting to finish early, right? And they've just gone at 9. So I know Pat likes to. Pat, are you still there?
Yeah.
Pat's nodded off. Pat.
Patsy. Anyway, it was
keep it brief.
A bit, you know, going on a bit. I think, yes, 7 till 9 is best. Even 7:30 till 9. But then you'll have to cut your talking down.
No, it's not 7:30, 7 till 9.
Yeah.
So
You
anyway,
know,
anyway, anything from you, Pat? No, we're going to take a 5-minute break. Anything from you, Goff?
I'll leave it till you finish. So we'll have the break.
all right.
Okay. And I want a 5-minute break, so it's just enough time to put the kettle on and back. So, Richard, anything from you?
No, nothing.
Right,
I'm gonna have a drink.
Right. And by the way, the Dodgy Git online shares his love with you, Anne.
Oh, it's my birthday yesterday. I never
Oh,
got
happy birthday, Anne! Happy birthday, dear Annie. Right, 5 minutes.
All right.
At least Pat's still alive. Jammy Dodgers. I wish I had some bloody Jammy Dodgers, mate. I wish I did. I really did. I dream of Jammy Dodgers. Right, by the way, we're going to have a break now. So Dodgy Git will be back soon. A Dodgy Git, it's about time you put your hand in your pocket and made a donation. So I'm gonna put in there a Dodgy Git. You can make at least chuck a £5 over on PayPal, Dodgy Git, right? So I'll put my go on, Dodgy Git. You know you can, right? You know you can. Dodgy Git, right? Chuck over a £5, right? And I'll just check my PayPal thing on you. So I gotta get a drink now. There you go, sorted. Right, I'm gonna there you go, Dodgy Git. La 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 la. This is flowing really well. Flowing really well. You know what? This is so strange. I thought that tonight. I actually thought. No. So weird. It's so strange. It's so strange. Pat, you just drifted off a little bit there. If you want to put your mic on, we basically mentioned earlier on, Bill had to go at 9, Dell had to go at 9. So we're just thinking that maybe not next week, but the week after, maybe starting at 7 and finishing at 9. Okay. Anyway, but we won't be doing it next week, but probably the week after. We're just having a quick break, and it's a very short break. So if you want something to drink, get it now.
Okay. Will do.
And we'll just go on for 20 minutes then, and that's it. We okay. What exactly happened? I just got something on my mind. What exactly happened? What exactly happened? Mm. 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 Da, 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 da. Da, 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 da. I can have it. Nobody's there yet. Oh.
I'm here.
Well, they must take you here, are they? Nobody.
I went to the theatre last night.
Oh. Oh, come on, Richard, hurry up. We haven't got all week.
Yes, we're both Capricorns, Carl.
I know we are. By the way, uh, apparently Kate wants Richard to play a part in his play that we're going to do in September.
All right.
At St. Barrack's Chapel.
Okay.
I can't remember what she said. Oh, he's back now. Don't tell him.
Hello. Thanks for your. So I said thank you for my birthday wishes to your wife and you. It's great. You can sort of not do anything and then just go on Facebook and everybody's wishing you a happy birthday.
The weird thing is I didn't put my birthday online, so nobody knew.
No, I knew you were beginning of January. Was it the 5th?
That's right, the 5th.
But depending on what day, I have been so busy. I've never been so busy with all these people getting in touch with me over my disability and things. But it is. I'll certainly have somewhere to go one day when when Archaeology Cymru's finished.
It won't be finished in that sense. Well, there was always the plan was always going to be that we would have one online class, whatever happened.
Yeah.
And actually, as we're waiting for Pat a minute, I
find that I'm exhausted after this class for a couple of days afterwards.
I want to vocalize something, right? It's just a bit weird. This on a Wednesday, right? We had Bill that was in our Bridgen class. We've got Del that was in our Bridgen class, Pat that was in our Bridgen class, Henry that was in our Bridgen class, and Anne that was in our Bridgen class, right? And that was there was a core throughout the pandemic of about 6 or 7 people, right? Well, when I've only got one person left from Lantwit Major, I just don't get it.
Who's that?
Well, it's obviously not Richard, is it?
No, Goff.
Yes.
Oh, right. Well, I think well, I didn't think the people in Lantwit Major were very partial to you, Joe. Joe, I'm calling you Joe. Carl.
That's not true, Anne. That's not true.
Sorry?
That's not true.
And that's not true. That's totally wrong. They were very partial to Carl. His class was very popular. It was and going online that put the majority of the people. Plus, there was a bit of a to do with someone we won't talk about. So
yeah,
it was not Carl's unpopularity.
No, it wasn't. No, I know. Yeah, sorry, I shouldn't have said that, especially not online. I hope we're not online, but
we are.
Well, I know it was to do with the way things happened after when we went online. Yes. it made a difference. Yeah, it made a big difference. And
but anyway, thanks for that, Goff. I appreciate that. But the point I'm trying to make, even with all of that, we've still got we've still, well, mathematically that's 5 people in Bridgend and there's 1 in Lantwit, and the last class I actually physically gave in Lantwit there was 18 people, right? And it's just like yeah.
Well, you know, people want to meet up, you know, they want to meet up, they want like, you know, they want to meet other people, you know, it's because
I went to learn about archaeology.
Well, yes,
and
of course.
actually, Anne, I'm gonna interrupt you. The problem is what started to happen in Lantwit was that it started to get longer and longer because it was starting to get into a big social thing. There was 2 people. There was a competition in a class of people baking cakes.
Yeah, too many chiefs and not enough Indians or something. I don't know. But, anyway, that's not actually, that is all in the past, and now you're talking about now, aren't you?
Now. Anyway, let's crack on, folks. It was just in my mind, right? We're going to crack on.
So there are some people who I wouldn't mind inviting, you know, to come online. You know, that's something I've thought about.
Well, let me know beforehand, because we don't want a certain person beginning with a J on you. Right, okay then. Let's crack on. Anyway, thanks for that, folks. Right, so Pat's wanting to finish at 9:30. We can't do that because the break was extremely long and it shouldn't have been. But no, nobody's fault.
Oh yeah.
Shut up. You're like a windbag sometimes. Right. Okay, so we're gonna quickly go to where we were, right? If I can remember, and there we go, and we got there, and oh yes, that is our coin of a Minas. Right, that is our beautiful coin of a Minas, and you can see here again where people are starting to develop a theme and ideas of maybe their identity. And our friend here, Minas, another tribal leader, trying to get his head shown, trying to get an image and his name on a coin. So let's just go, let's go to the last set of images. And all of that stuff there underneath these, we're not doing. So what we've got, we're going to go, we've got about 15 images to look at now. So what we've got here, we're starting to see that there is a development of, we've mentioned a lot, to be honest, we've mentioned a lot about gold and silver. We haven't actually mentioned a great deal about bronze coins, for example. We've got a coin there, and the bronze coin there looks quite distinctive as well. But the one thing overall with all of these coins is, getting back into the is the horse on these coins, and the head on these coins. So again, that sort of developing British coins and developing the style and the direction of British coins. What you've got is on our coins today, you've got a head, the king, and on the reverse, you've got something else. So this is, you're thinking, well, that's obvious. Don't all coins in the world have that? No, they do not. Our style of coins is specific, and it goes all the way back to now in the Iron Age, right? And what you've got, the thing that I was getting at earlier on with Dell, about the storytelling on coins, is again what we've got a bird there as well. We've got like a little type donkey coin, and actually the head on that coin, the head of that horse looks very much like a Mary Lloyd head.
Yeah.
Right, which is that tradition that was all across Britain once, and now it's in the echelons of Northern England, Wales, and Cornwall. So again, look at that head there. Again, the nose is distinctive. You've got nothing on the chin, right? You've got something on the neck, but we're not really sure what that is. And then we go on to looking at this. Now, again, bronze coin, gold coin underneath. And what we've got here, interesting enough, underneath, we've got somehow that person must have seen the other coin. Was it of Tin Commius with the horses' heads on, right? No, it wasn't Tin Commius. It was Dub Novalenus of the Cantai people, the Kent people, right? Maybe what they've done with that, they've basically seen that coin and they said, "Oh, right, what are these things? Oh, we'll just copy it," right? When in fact there were 3 horses' heads and 3 legs. Here, it's almost as if we got 3 horses' necks, 3 horses, 3 horses' necks and 3 horses' heads. And it's almost as if we've got a floral design in the middle. So there's something going on here which is slightly different. From another leader, Ad Marus, right? Lots of these are really difficult to pronounce. Again, across the tribal ilk, across all these people. Now these are coins coming into the people of the people of north of London, for example. I just I really struggle. Oh yeah, that's the Catavalani people, not the Coratavani people, the Catavalani people. So what we're getting at with the coins now, we're getting at the people, the Catavalani people. And obviously over on the right there, you've got the Trinavantes. The Catavalani is directly north of London. We haven't actually mentioned them, but you can see that the designs are spread all over South. The horse is popular, and you start to think, well, hang on a minute, right? If you look at a modern coin and you think about the king's head, right, and it's got like a certain denomination, right, that's a specific meaning. It's a specific value. So if you've got a horse on it, is that a specific value? When the horse is on lots of coins of different stater value, full stater, half stater, quarter stater. So what does a horse actually mean? And this is where we get into the territory of where we need to know a little bit more, for example. Right, so hang on, let's go there. We got that. And there, this is a very interesting. I mentioned earlier on that we've got Verulamium, right, which is the modern city of St. Albans, which has got lots of Roman remains. Verulamium was one of the 5 major Roman cities in Britain. I've also done a little 1-minute YouTube on the mosaic that's there as well, which actually did that because Pete took me and my daughter there, actually. So another mention of Pete. So there we go, Verulamium. And there you go, VER. So the name of the location's on the coin, VER. So it's saying we produce coins in Verulamium. There's the mint. The mint is in Verulamium. That's where the coins produce, VER. It's in the tradition of the Munir, where the coins produce, the standard, the Verulamium standard. And this is very important. You're not, for example, you're not going to produce a coin from Verulamium that's slightly not the right weight because it's the standard of the people in Verulamium. It's the same thing. Tascovanus coin there on the bottom, the gold stater, full gold stater there, a fascinating gold stater. What we've got is we've got the central design there on the obverse, and then you've got the horse on the right hand side there with a nice mane. And interesting enough, you've got a bull's head. That's a bull's head behind the rear of the horse. And I think, again, if you can't see it, you're struggling to work out whether it's a bull's head, right? I can assure you that is a bull's head with the horns and the head there. So again, the bull is important to these coins as well. So what we've got, we've got the horse, we've got the horse's neck, we've got the wolf, we've got the bull, we've got the cow, maybe somewhere along that line there's a cat. But they're very prancing, really nice designs that a young girl of 6 or 7 would like with a little My Little Pony today. It's like a My Little Pony design. So again, going on to another coin here, we go over to the likes of Camel and Junum, and Camel and Junum is actually Colchester, right? Now, have we got? Oh, hang on. Have we missed the Sago coin? Is that the Sago coin? Yeah, sorry. Now, interesting enough, this coin of Camel and Junum, right? The camel and Junum is actually, you can actually see where there's lettering there. That should actually say the VL, that should say that's the start of camel and Junum. What you'll notice is that lots of these things are shortened. The monograms are actually shortened. The monogram should say CAMVL there, camel and Junum, above the horse's head. And Sago, interesting enough, the word Sago, is that a name of an individual? What is all that about? And then the other coin there on the right hand side, that's a coin issued associated with an individual called Andoko, right? Which is there, Andoko. And they're putting loads of things onto these coins, right? Whereas and previously, what you've got another design of, hang on, stop that. You mentioned the Tascovanus coin earlier on. This could be a copy of the Tascovanus coin, but instead of being a copy, what they've done, instead of having a bull's head, they put that there, whatever that is. It's a phallus, or what is it? What is that? But again, and Doko is all about competition. And the Catalano people over there, just above London, the Trinavante people over there on the right, which is Colchester wise. There's all this sort of gentle competition, but there's something I mentioned last night that is very indicative of British coins, right? I'm not going to ask you what I've missed out because there's so much to talk about coins, but look at that. The horse is facing towards the right, and that one, they're facing towards the left. And what do you say about coins today? The head, I don't know, I haven't actually analysed this. I don't know if I'm going to be right or wrong in this because I haven't actually seen a coin, right, of King Charles. But I believe that the head on the King Charles coin should be facing the opposite way than the head that was on the coins of Queen Elizabeth. I think she was facing right, wasn't she? I can't remember, but how these heads face, right, is another style that we have on modern coins. So what we've got here is not always does the name Rex appear on these coins. The word Rikon appears on these coins as well. That is interesting. And what is also interesting is what I've just said. We would think that the word Rex is like a Roman word or an Anglo-Saxon word. It's not. It's an Iron Age word. And how do you know it's an Iron Age word, Anne? Because it's on the bloody coins. It's actually written on the coins. We have got a written language. It does exist. Without me pointing, and the word recon, right? That may be a pre-Roman word which has survived, which means king or rex. Isn't that amazing? So this is a coin of Tascovanus, because his name is also on it as well. And actually, he probably copies that. If you think about Roman films, the standard bearer, the signifer, the Roman standard bearer signifer, they would have like they would have a standard, and it'd be like a rectangular standard. Above that, there would be like that thing there, like a panel, right? And that's what that looks like to me. That's what we see on Roman stamps on tiles in Roman Britain later on. But that is pre-Roman, again, pre-Roman. We go quickly again. We're not going to be too much longer now, Pat. Again, we've got more of these nice designs by Dub Novalenus in the likes of Canterbury, and then another figure that will come in later on. Shakespeare apparently writes about Cunobelline. This is a coin of Cunobelline, right? This great figure in history known as Cunobelline, right? And again, what we've got is this figure coming into history, producing his own coins. And this is a territory north of the River Thames, Cunobelline, associated with the Catalano people, right? And looking at another image now, right? And it's coming up. The image that I wanted you to think of is coming up, but I don't agree with what they said last night. Anne, what does that image on the right look like to you? And nobody else interrupt. Anne.
Well, the face looks like a dragon. Yeah, it looks like a dragon.
Bingo! That's what somebody said last night.
Yeah.
I thought you were going to say wolfhound. That looks like a wolfhound.
No, it's got like you know, I always think that a dragon is like a bit some sort of horsey type thing. But yeah, I think it's like
Oh my God! It does look like hang on, it looks like something called not a Gilbert. There's like a
Griffin.
Oh my God! Not a griffin. There's something else. There's like a dragon type creature with like 2 legs and prancing in the front. That does look like a dragon because they're shorter in the front, don't they?
Yeah.
A dragon without wings, yes. Not a dog because they look shorter. Wow, yes. Quite excited with that, Anne. Thank you. This is a kind of line as well. CUN, right? CUN. And actually, we just got a few more images and then we finish tonight, right? So that's where we're going to go, right? I think that's great that we've seen that. It does look like a bit of a dragon's head, right? I'm just going to see how many images we've got left. Right, not many at all. So we're just going to basically what you've got there. Look at that. I tell you what, Anne, right? Bill's not here, but how difficult is it to produce the muscle and the interpretation of that from a horse? Is that easy to do?
No.
It's not.
No.
And Bill should have seen this one. Now, I think that's fascinating. And this is another kind of line, right? I tell you what, right? Again, you've got the pellets around the outside, like a coin from, I don't know, the 1700s, where they started putting pellets around the outside so people didn't mill the outside, and as in milling on a coin. And do you know there the evolution? You know where we were mentioning about the wheat sheaf earlier on, right? And there you go. That the head has turned into a wheat sheaf. That's all these things. This is what's important to these people. This is what is in their lives. This is what dominates their lives. This is who they are. You know, that there isn't that weird, but it's so weird because what we've got now, finally, minutes to go, Pat. So don't worry. Sorry, we've gone over. So that coin itself, when they found that coin, they thought this is a bit odd because this is very similar to a coin that was produced by the Roman Republic in Sicily after they defeated Carthage in 210 BC, right? So what must have happened then is somebody came over with a coin from somewhere in Europe, traded it with people in Britain. It got to Cannibaline's money, and they basically said, we can copy that, and they did. But I gotta be honest with you. I think our designs are better than this. I gotta be honest with you because we have actually seen one similar to this, right? And they've made a copy of this. Let's not make copies of coins. Just make our own. And this is what we're seeing. This is what we're seeing. And then finally, what we've got here, we've got one design there, just two to go. What we've got this. It says it there. It doesn't say on there. Forgeries, right? What they found is that in Kent, Cannibline, with and when we're going into Kent, these coins were found in Kent, right? So his coins got to Kent from London way. So the one on the right is a bronze core of a forged quarter stater. So it's a small 1 pence coin, and that would have been dipped in gold, right? But unfortunately, all the gold's come off, right? So these are actually forged coins. Proper forged coins, right? These ain't copies. They're, as I said earlier on, these are forged coins. So somebody's out there. And the wording on there, you see there, even though these are forgeries, forget about the dragon now, or maybe that. Actually, Anne, go on. That looks like a dragon. It said, I should have asked you, Anne, that does look like a dragon. That looks like a Welsh dragon with the wings, not a Pegasus. It says it's a Pegasus, but that looks like a Welsh dragon to me, right? So again, all of this, it's just showing us so much about their world and their mythology and their faith. and then moving away from that image there. Okay. Let's just go on to this. This is the last image that we're looking at today. This is a coin. This is a gold stater of Epitarchus. Epitarchus. I know these sound like Roman names, but this is what these people called themselves before the Romans. So what they've done, the Latin has inscribed their names from whatever they're saying. So they might not be exactly Epitarchus, but Epitarchus, epi, sounds a bit native, and Epitarchus sounds like it's Romanized. Right. So fine. So what you've got, instead of having the full Epitarchus on the back, they've put it's just put TASCIF. So that's meant to know. It's basically saying, right. Let me get this right. Right. Okay, folks. I'm gonna have to have a tablet a minute. I'm just losing my thread. 1 second.
I think I'm going.
Hang on a minute, I've nearly finished. Right. Oh, I gotta take an aspirin. Right. This is the last image, Anne. I had to take an aspirin then. I lost my flow. Right. Back to my flow. Right. Right. Okay. So what we've got is what we've got on the back is obviously Epitarchus. We've got Tasci, which basically means Tascovanus. On the back, Tascovanus, associated with Epitarchus, and the F on there is basically Tasci, Tascovanus, F, which means F meaning Epitarchus on the other side, which you can clearly see there on that design. Epitarchus is actually mentioned, son of Tascovanus. And as a coin to end on, look at that beautiful design on the back where it says Epitarchus. And that, my folks, is where we're ending today, and that's a beautiful design on the coin. And sorry that we've gone really over. It's all to do with starting tonight and stuff. But next week we won't be going over this long, and Pat will be able to go to bed a lot earlier. On that note, sorry about that, Pat. I do apologize. And you even fell asleep. So think about this in 2 weeks. If we not next week, but if we think about starting in 2 weeks at 7 o'clock. And finishing at 9, we can get as much in as we've done tonight. We really started after 7:30 tonight, but not a problem.
Are we having a week off? Are we having a week off? Why is it?
No, that might be in 2 weeks, but we're back normal time next week at 7:15. Right, Anne, anything you want to say?
I thought that Epona, was French. I thought the coin, there was this very simplistic coin done of the horse, and we thought that was Iron Age, and it was maybe influenced by French, but we'll talk about that again.
We're going to do some more coin stuff next week, but
that's what I mean. We've only ever seen that one about the horse, the horse with like the white horse,
we talked a lot about that.
Yeah, so there's so many more I never knew. Great.
Yeah. I didn't mention Uffington once tonight or Lloyd George, but we'll have to mention it next week. Anyway, thanks for that, Anne. If there's nothing else from you, Anne, right, Richard.
Oh, thank you.
That's it for me. Very interesting.
Okay.
Good. Pat, anything? No, we haven't done Goff yet. You want to stay for Goff because you always interfere with him. Right. Pat.
No, thank you very much. It was good.
Right, Goff. You said you wanted to say something, so go for it.
No, I was just going to comment on the artwork. It's fantastic, isn't it? So very impressive. But no, other than that, no questions. I'm quite happy to start at 7.
Yeah.
Good night.
Okay, well, we'll announce that next week, and we'll say to everybody we'll start next week at 7:15, but we will make the announcement next week to start at 7, and it makes it easier. If there's nobody wanted to say anything else, we're going to say goodnight to Goff, Richard, Anne, and Pat.
I've left you a message.
Bye, Goff.
Bye.
I gotta go I gotta take Joe to the hospital on Friday.
Okay then. Okay,
So we can't go for coffee.
But you'll have to phone her. She's gone.
Yeah, it's all right.
All right then, Anne.
Good night.
By the way, the dodgy git says banging, and he's in love with you. All right then. I'll speak to you soon. Anyway, thank you, Dodgy Git. You're the last one on, and again, Dodgy Git, thanks for joining us. And I'm gonna have, if you Dodgy Git, you could say something. It's Wednesday. Yeah, I can work that out either. Hey, bye-bye, Dodgy Git. I'll see you again, and keep supporting. Comment to the channel. And Dodgy Git, can you do me one favor that doesn't involve money, Dodgy Git? Can you subscribe to our other channel, which is basically which is this Dodgy Git. It's the Walking Dead UK, and Dodgy Git, if you subscribe to that, we're trying to get to 200 subscribers on it. So if you can subscribe to that, Dodgy Git, it's free. Please do so, and I'll be really appreciative. On that note, I'll just click onto the Walking Dead UK and you can get onto it. So, well, anyway, many thanks, everybody, and we'll speak to you soon. Tuesday. That was a bit weird. I got low blood pressure, and I felt it in that last image, and I got my words mixed up. So, anyway, thank you very much, and I'll speak to you soon. I'm going to look in the chat box as I always do. Okay, there's nothing in the chat box. 1. There's nothing in the chat box. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Nothing there. Okay, diolch yn fawr i chi. Gwelwch chi eto